or can't succeed as entrepreneurs. I'm going to give you 10 of them. 10? Let's dive right in. So, you see, most employees, they think money is, well, an anxiety. Essentially, anxiety and money are the same thing. They are bedfellows. They are together, locked in, one and the other together. So if you are one of these people that think that money is an anxiety, I mean, just think about it for a second. Let's take a back seat. If you are getting up in the morning and you're worrying about getting to work before you even gobble down that breakfast, before you can even eat with joy, why? Because you're thinking, well, I need to make rent, or I need to make a payment. I need to get into work. I can't be 1 minute late. Why? Because I'll lose an hour's wage or work. I'll lose 15 minutes of money or whatever. If you're one of those people that is rushing back to lunch, same way, if there's one of those things in life where you're thinking you need to get out there in the evening and do your exercise or do whatever, if you're doing that, well then, you know what, that's great. But if it's a worry that you need to exercise for today and not for tomorrow, and all of these things, and you're worrying about tomorrow because you're 9 to 5 and you're structured into that 9 to 5 pattern, well then you are an employee who's anxious with regard to how you exercise, how you eat, how you spend your time in the evening. At the end of the day, your time should be your own. It certainly is when you're dead. Think about it. When you're dead, you don't worry about the 9 to 5. When you're dead, you ain't worrying about gobbling down that breakfast. When you're dead, you ain't worrying about how much exercise you're going to get. There's goods and there's bads to that, but the reality is you're alive. If you're watching this video, you're alive, so therefore these anxieties entwined with money make no sense. Money is just one thing that comes, and by golly gosh, it will go. So we need to do something better. We need to reduce our anxiety around money. We need to live within our means, firstly. We know that. Now our means can be just now. Does that pressurize you to actually be worried about money in the future? Of course it will. Why? Because we're living within our means. But for now it gives us that, safety place for us to just start with. And then debt, of course, is going to be at the back of our mind. For sure, we're only human beings. But if debt becomes more of an anxiety and towards our depression, well then this anxiety and money are just intertwined. So we need to remove that. Other things we need to do is we need to automate our lifestyle. And today we have digital banking, digital things online. And we need to realize that we do this automatically. But is it the best for ourselves? I mean, if it feeds into this anxiety, is it going to be better for ourselves in the long run? I mean, we're talking about a longer life here than 1 day. We're talking about longer than, 2 minutes payments straight away. So what you need to do is you need to consider where it is we're going with this online digitalization of our money, of our accounts and so on. At the end of the day, we control things if we take a step back from our employment and we start going, hey, I can be an entrepreneur. I can be a person who's a self-starter. If you have one idea, you can do it. Anybody can do it. So perhaps you need to pull back a little bit on automating your lifestyle and realize that it's the automators that are dictating to you that they want money in a certain way, a sustainable way, a cost-effective way. So does that suit your lifestyle? Only you can answer that. But what we need to do is reduce these anxieties around money, to intertwine our money with a healthier attitude. Another thing we need to do is, I suppose employees negate doing because they're no good at it with regard to entrepreneurship. They have only limited energy to work, these employees. Now you may have found yourself in that way in the past. I certainly have, where your energy is sapped by your work and you are an employee of some sort of work that you're good at perhaps, but there are certain issues in work that you cannot control, that are outside your limitation zone, that you are not the manager or manageress of, that you just cannot change, even though they're so simple to change, even though they would suit not just you, but others, and even the whole organization itself. But you have to realize that your energy is golden. You need to protect it. You need to make that energy flow in your way, for you, so that you can help others if you wish to help others. But if you negate it and you're put into that area just to be a 9-to-5er, and that's not suiting you, and if you're an employee, well then how can you be entrepreneurial? How can you be creative and all those great things that entrepreneurship gives you? So you need to get pumped up with your energy. You need to go off the grid for a while perhaps, leave down that mobile phone, leave down that cell phone. Be grateful for the craziness of your life. Look at the ability that you already have innately to create, to be imaginative. You need to stay on the road to what you're thinking about doing. If you're in a short-term position, again 9 to 5, that's fine. There's absolutely no problem. But if it's clouding your vision to where you want to go, what you want to do in life, what it is that you have that one brilliant idea with back in the back of your head, and you want to get it out there and you want to make it profitable, you want to make it part of your lifestyle, you want to make it help other people, you can do that. You just need to be able to make sure work is not impeding upon your creativity. Make sure work is not impeding upon your lifestyle that is now, in order to get over that Rubicon, get over that bridge, get to that other side about where you actually will want to be. So going from A to B is fine, but what's the bit in between A to B, from the employment of 9 to 5 or so to that beautiful entrepreneurship that you so want to be at? You have to have that middle bit planned for. This is where you need to jump from A to B. This middle bit could be months, it could be years in the process of getting to entrepreneurship. Or do you need to take that big step from A to B and just get over that? Cut the ties with employment. That's up to you. Everybody is different. But for sure, we need to make sure that we avoid all these things. What is the one thing we do not want to avoid, but we must have if we want to be an entrepreneur and not just an employee? We need to have passion, because employees often do not have enough passion for what they're working at. Sure, if they have a great boss who is passionate, if they have a great boss or manager or supervisor who is imparting their wisdom to you, that's wonderful. You will get passionate about what you're doing. You will get passionate about how you're doing it. You will get passionate about, for example, teaching people or helping people or making money or getting or hitting deadlines or whatever. That passion can then be used, and you can display it within your own entrepreneurship after you finish that work. After you decide in the evenings that I'll do it a couple of hours myself, or after you finish it for good and you pull off that plaster and you decide, hey, I'm doing this, this is it, this is my passion. So if it is your passion, you can be an entrepreneur, you can motivate others, you can have the ability to trigger passion in others. If you love your work, you can certainly, and you will certainly as an employee, work beyond the 9 to 5, beyond the required contract hours. Why? Because you love your work. You want to hit deadlines. You love it so much, it's what you want to always do. Wonderful. But remember, just because you're in a 9 to 5, or if you're in a contract, or if you're in a permanent position at work and you're an employee, it doesn't mean to say, by the way, you can't start your own little project on the side. It doesn't mean to say that you can't actually get further with that. You can. Why not? Give it a go. Give it a whirl. Why not? Why? Because you will get there further. You will end up being a better person for it. Why? Because your passion is your lifeblood. Go for it. Use what you have within yourself, because essentially that is what is there for you to actually create for others. So we have all these wonderful things, but if you lack confidence, if you lack confidence in what you're good at, if you lack confidence in where you can bring this project of yours, where you can bring your vision of where you're going with entrepreneurship, then you may as well be an employee. Now, hey, hold on a second. There is nothing wrong with being an employee, by the way. Maybe you are better being an employee, fine. But if you have that little inkling of an idea, that little bit, you can then use that to trigger something within yourself, to push yourself, to really harness that inner confidence that you have. Because if you look at other parts of your life, you have inner confidence for something. If you're confident enough to go into work and expect money at the end of the week as an employee, you're confident enough to know that money can come from somewhere. So use that confidence. Be confident, because it is for confidence sake that you can then go forward with your entrepreneurial ideas. You can kick forward. You can leave that razzle-dazzle, me oh my, of the just normalized employment, and you can kick on and get to a really super duper razzle dazzle of entrepreneurship for yourself. Often employees, they don't want to manage themselves 24/7, but reality bites. We all manage ourselves 24/7. I mean, we have to know what time we're eating, because we all have our different dietary needs. We have to have the knowledge of eating or getting a certain amount of meals or certain amounts of food on our meals. Why? Because we're all different and we all need to eat a certain way at a certain time. Our digestion patterns are different. We all need to brush our hair in the morning to look well, or we all need to open our eyes in the morning. No one else is doing it for us. We need to go to the toilet at a certain time. We need to wash at a certain time. So we are already managing ourselves. But then why do we think? Why is this anxiety towards thinking that we can't manage ourselves in the future if we're an entrepreneur? You can manage yourself in the future. If you're on the edge of a cliff, you sure as hell ain't going to jump off if you don't want to jump off. You can cling to something. That's managing yourself in that, mysteriously, perhaps treacherous or scary moment. If you're in that scary moment as an entrepreneur, you mightn't want to be there, but you know what? If you cling on for that second, you're there and no one else is. So you can reap the benefits too. So often employees like to manage themselves only, and that's fine. But if you're not the manager in employment, then you're managed by others, and that's fine too. But then you're just an employee. But don't take it as just, because you can kick on into the entrepreneurial world too yourself. You just need to realize that you're going to manage yourself fully for everything you do as your own entrepreneurial person. Employees, they avoid long-term planning. For goodness sake, there are people, managers, there are financial managers, there are gurus within massive companies. They need to project things. They need to spend. They need to market. They need to advertise. They need to put their money and their huge money amounts into big projects. Why? Because they need to actually get where they're going, their company. They're doing it on behalf of a team. They might be manager, manageress, might be boss, owner, CEO, whatever it is. But they have confidence in the other people around them. You need to have that confidence in yourself and plan for the future. Plan for not just then, but now and next. Because that's what an entrepreneur is going to be. The mindset is to actually plan for what can be, so you can do it. You just need to establish what it is you're doing. Employees, they need to be told what to do. Like robots, you press a button, they go and they just do it. But you too can be the person who's pressing the button of your own self. You can be the person who controls yourself enough to project yourself in a certain direction so that you can actually be the person that pushes yourself forward. You don't need somebody else to push yourself. You can be the person too. If you're an employee, however, you like to have somebody that's there and they will fulfill your need to be told what to do. You are an employee after all, and that's fine. But if you want to go and you want to wonder what it is that makes an entrepreneur, do an aptitude test. Find out what type of personality you are in order to be the happiest you will be for now and for long term. If you want the more long-term approach, well then you're going to have to go with the entrepreneurial route. Employees, they can't see a future with a change in employment. So what is the big change in employment? Right now? Well, by the time you watch this video, it might be different. So I'm not going to let you into that little secret unless you want to comment below, at which time I will be very happy indeed to produce another video on this. But the point being is that employment changes. It never stays the same. Technology is one thing, for example. So that employment will change. All these futuristic jobs will be different than now. Right now is when I publish this here video for you to watch and educate yourself and entertain yourself. I hope indeed too. But if you see that the future is different, you see. If you can see, then you have that entrepreneurial spirit. If you can have that vision, therefore you can act upon it. You can see what's coming up in the future. So employees, they themselves, they ain't going the vision route whatsoever. So you can do it. Why not? The passion that's in people that are entrepreneurial is better or more so towards the topics of what they're doing. Whereas the people that are employed generally, I'm not saying you, but generally they can kind of get in dumb home places. So their passion in life lie outside of any potential work. And that too is fine. You might be passionate about music. You do it in the evening as a volunteer. Wonderful. You're in a choir. You do sport. You just keep fit. Wonderful. You're passionate. Once you're passionate, that is wonderful. But you can bring that passion and harness that. As I say, do something you love and you never have to work one day in your life. It's so true. So that is the things that you need to know as an employee versus being an actual entrepreneur. Until next time, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do. But please do, more so, click that button and enjoy your day.